End up knocking it off. But so this project, you see that chair, I know I ain't gonna paint it today, but I had a little extra time. Hold on real quick. Oh, sorry y'all. Had to take off running out the Kinley behind because she tried to sneak a cookie. I mean, she came out here with nothing on, trying to sneak a cookie that I supposed been hiding from her, that her brother ended up telling her that I had. We go see. So basically, I was telling y'all about this chair earlier that I had found on that video, and I was told to put some WD-40 on it, saturate it for a little bit. So it's been saturated for I think enough time for us to actually get started. So I found the old box that I had to put in the burnt pile from the trampoline, and I just ripped it. So since we are going to be discussing a lot dealing with depression, why not find time to get some stuff, get some time in and talk about it. Speaking of time, when it comes to depression, how are you utilizing your time? I found myself being severely depressed when, I'm not going to say when I didn't have anything to do, but whenever I just sit around. So we're going to see how this scrubbing go. Okay. I may have to put some more on there. So one thing, if you notice, I do aim at going to the track a lot. So if I'm not going to the track or anything, hey y'all. So basically what we're talking about, why we're going to have a discussion on depression, we're talking about things to do in the midst to keep your time occupied. I stated that one thing, when I was depressed, I found myself kind of sitting around not doing too much of anything. I found myself with time just really getting past me, not doing anything. So like right now, I got the small children bathe. Actually, all my girls bathe except for my son. I got some work that I'm going to be doing later, but I told myself that I wanted to do a project. This chair that I told y'all about earlier, so this is what I'm going to start doing. I've already soaked it a little bit with the WD-40. I don't know how it's going to come out, but it's a project that I'm going to be doing. So right now, I'm scrubbing the rust off. I found this here brush. I don't know how it's going to last, but I got 2 of them from Walmart for 97 cents. And I'm just going to scrub away, and let's talk. I did get a couple of responses from people in my inbox about what you guys felt depression was. And I think we're going to save that for probably tomorrow or for the next live. But here is just an example. Keeping your mind occupied. You have to know when to calm your mind and when to put your mind to work, right? This really isn't so much of putting my mind to work, but it's allowing me to get stuff accomplished. Speaking of accomplishments, sometimes we find ourselves depressed when we set some of our goals too high for ourselves. We find ourselves wanting to compare and just succeed in life just so quickly. I said one time before that you don't give yourself credit for the small things that you do, and we grow depressed, right? That's whenever you take your time and you write this list out of little things that you want to do, but you also have to make sure you congratulate yourself. I did a live on that one time before. Congratulate yourself on the small things. Say for instance, if I sit around the house for a long time and I got out and started doing this, we need to make sure we take the time to congratulate ourselves. Because that's something that you've done today that you didn't do yesterday. Or that's something that you've done today that you haven't done at all, you know? Hey, sister. See, this treasure share is about to be nice. It really, really is. So, whether I'm going to get the whole thing scrubbed tonight, I don't know. But we're going to get as much done as possible. I don't know how much time the children are going to give me, but until I hear some crying or some fussing, I'm going to get as much of it done as I possibly can. You know what? I was thinking WD-40 was like some like deep oil. I was looking for it to be black stuff everywhere. That's why I got this box. I didn't realize that it was just clear. It got a little distinct smell to it, but hey. So what are some things you guys do in your spare time when dealing with depression? Don't all speak at once. Well, actually, it's one person out here, but we could just sit there and hold a long conversation. What are some things you do in a depressive time? Do you mope around and only think about the things you have not accomplished? Or do you actually take the time to figure out some things? Let's talk about some things that may lead you into depression. Say you lost your job, right? How long do you sit and mope around about losing your job? Is it something that lasts for a day? Is it something that lasts for months or weeks? After you answer that, ask yourself why. Is that coming from self-pity? Because that's a big thing. So look, today, when I was driving, at the end of the day, and we're still going to go step by step, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to depression, it all boils down to you loving yourself. How much you love yourself. How much work you're willing to put in for yourself. You know, I found myself, you know, I have probably previously threw around a lot how much self-love I had. Oh, this self-love, oh, this self-love, oh, this self-love. I found myself doing it a lot previously. Well, really, honey, it wasn't no love there for myself. I would find myself loving men way more than I love myself. I was the type of person that when I'm in a relationship, baby, I did the bath water, I did the feet, I did the good loving, I did the cooking. I did everything. I was everything to my partners that I wasn't to myself. So sometimes when we don't treat ourselves right, you know, depression kicks in, right? And I asked myself, Carisha, you know, is it really off of self-love? You know, you got some, and look, I'm telling you, my depression led to a suicide attempt. But even after me sitting and evaluating it, I didn't love myself at all. I didn't love myself. I didn't take time to myself. I didn't do anything. BB, get your behind back down here. BB. I've been fussing at BB all day. Here she comes. I didn't give myself the time that I need. And people are like, oh, well, I do love myself. I love myself. Another question, ask yourself, what is self-love? Because, baby, I used to think, oh, okay, when I got up and got dressed for a day, you know, that was self-love. Or, oh, if I went out looking regular, I didn't care what nobody had to say. I still was loving myself, but that's not self-love, you know? You love yourself enough to treat yourself as if you're the person loving you, you know? The same type of love that you give away to other people, it's the same type of love you need to give to yourself. And if you don't give that type of love to yourself emotionally, you're going to be really, really torn. So I'm going to tell you, within all of my years of dating, and I'm just talking about dating right now, all of my years of dating, I was that damn wife and I wasn't married then. You know, even in my marriage, I did a lot and I didn't do it for myself. When it comes to relationships, friendships, family, situationships, whatever it is, I found myself always going out the way for other people, ensuring that they were good, and I wasn't good. There were times that I would give my last and just not have no more, you know. We were taught at once upon a time, I know I was taught that it's best to give than receive. But what the hell happened when you ain't got nothing else to give? That's when we become drained and depressed. Because now I can't give, and now I don't have anything. I teach my children now not so much to be all about self when it comes to them, but to make sure they are well taken care of. You know, to make sure that they are happy. To make sure before you give anything at all, to make sure you have in yourself. Because when it's all said and done, if you don't have anything else, y'all just gonna be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bumps on the logs and not having nothing. So we really trying to figure out what's what with depression. This is part again down to the roots of it. People probably see me walking. People see me in the store because I don't have on no headphones and I be talking. Whether I'm talking to my spirit team or whether I'm talking to myself, I've been finding myself questioning myself a whole lot. This is a time that I've been in isolation. You know, I don't want to be around too many people or anything like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want too many people's input on what's going on, because at the end of the day, whenever I make my decisions on what I want to do in life, or today or tomorrow, it's going to be based off of me. Another thing we could talk about. Sometimes we find ourselves depressed whenever we going based, that stuff got in my mouth. Excuse me, y'all. Whenever we go based off of somebody else's thoughts and opinions of us and what we should do, what they feel we should do. Yes, it is our fault. We shouldn't be calling too many people, but sometimes we don't know that. Sometimes when we feel like we giving our all, that's all we think about, you know. I need to call and tell such and such this. But when you call and tell such and such this, does it make you feel better? Does it really make you feel better? Or is it just another person that you've told this to create more energy? You know, everybody's not going to be in agreement with you. So say for instance, I'll call somebody and I'm upset about something that happened to me. I feel like I just really need to talk to them, right? I don't know where their mindset is. I don't know what's on their mind. So I'm calling them to tell them my issues. They listen. I feel like it's off of my chest, but it's not off of my mind. Now this other person that knows my information and my business of what I just told them has it on theirs. What type of energy they have, I don't know, but you're creating more energy, more conflict, more chaos around something that probably wouldn't have been so big, but you've given that attention to it. What you give attention to grows. Picture it being like, you know, back in the day we used to like those little hubble bubbles. Or either we used to like, I know I used to like the little the bubble gum, that the little strings. So just imagine yourself putting a whole bunch of that in your mouth. If you just let it sit in your mouth, it just go sit there. And the sugar just go drain everywhere, all in your mouth. And you just go keep sucking the flavor out. But it's just there. You know you got gum in your mouth, but you're not chewing. All you're doing is sucking that sugar out. But when you chew, you know, the sugar comes out, right? So your situation is that bubble gum, and your energy is your mouth, right? So if I have a situation and I'm just letting it sit on my tongue, it's not growing. But once I get to chewing and chewing and chewing, allowing that air to come in, allowing the saliva to increase and all that, and you get the blowing. We used to like blowing the bubbles till it popped in our face, right? Well, I did. I don't know about y'all. So if I did not constantly chew on that gum, I wouldn't have got a bubble. Even though it says Hubba Bubba is letting me know that a bubble can be created, I wouldn't have got a bubble because I didn't give it that attention. So think about if you going through something and you done told these people and that person, it may make you feel temporarily, oh, I got somebody to agree with me on it, right? But afterwards, you done gave it so much attention, it expanded. It expanded from one person to the next person, next. Now you got a shitstorm, right? When you could have just let that marinate. You could have let it marinate, not on your tongue when it comes to your situation, but on your mind. Enough where you could have sat and you could have thought about your own solution. Because once you call this person and you call that person, they're not giving you the fulfillment that you need, or the replies that you're looking for. So you call. Then this person called that person, because nowadays you don't know who you can trust, right? You don't know who got you in best interest, right? Think it's coming out pretty good. But in the escalated, now it turned into that bubble that done popped dead in your face. So once that bubble popped dead in your face, and it's a bunch of shit started, now you growing depressed. I'm just giving you different ways on how depression arises. You don't just wake up and be depressed. It all stimulates from your mind. From your mind. Okay, now it's stimulated from my mind, right? What type of feelings are you holding behind it? So I'm upset behind it. Even if it ain't nothing big, I'm upset behind it. I'm giving all this energy to it. Now I'm so upset, I done got pissed off. I don't want to go nowhere. But then everybody around me got to hear the bullshit, basically. You got to hear me nagging. You got to hear me complaining. Now I feel like since all this crap and blowed up in my face, now I feel like I got to go off on whoever said something. You don't want to open your mouth in the first place. I guess that's when you get depressed and you realize I should have shut my mouth. Basically, the moral of that story is getting upset and getting your feelings about somebody's opinions is unnecessary if you take the time to just sit with yourself. Why did I get mad? Why did this upset me? Why am I sitting here depressed? Like, what makes me not feel good enough to go and do this? Why did I just get pissed off from getting fired from this job when really you found another job and now you realize like, oh, that was a blessing in disguise? Well, you probably would have figured out that was a blessing in disguise if you would have sit with yourself from the beginning. Now you done created all this chaotic energy prolonging what you're going to do. So this going to be leading to, I ain't going to get to that one for a couple of weeks. That's why I asked earlier, what is your definition of depression? And once you define that definition, I don't know what kind of bug that is. What's next? What are you going to do after you find out what depression is to you? I'm really ready to figure out what you're going to find out what depression is to you when you find out what you may consider depression. It's not even really depression. But this here is a way to soothe my mind. I've never gotten rust off of a chair like this before. It is something new to me. But I think it's going to be very beautiful once I get done. Because a lot of y'all and a lot of us have so much creativity within us. We prefer to sit there and watch it or watch somebody else doing it than to get out and show our own talent. That could be another reason why you're depressed. Inner conflict with yourself. One minute you feel like, and look, I'm telling y'all about me. 1 minute you feel like you worthy to get this done. And then the next minute, once you feel worthy enough, it take one person to tell you, oh, girl, that ain't possible. Oh, dude, what you thinking? And you just let it go. Y'all know how much I did, how many times I did that? I tell everybody I should be rich in some type of way. I know how to do too much stuff to be sitting here now. Bank account not in the dang on. At least 5 figures, you know. At least 5 figures. Once you take control over your mind and understand whatever in your mind is what manifests. Once you take control over that, man, the ball is in your court. But it's just the process of taking control over that. That took me years. It may take dang on tomorrow for somebody just to snap up out of it. But for me, it took me a long time. Why? You have to pay attention to your environment. Who's supporting you? Or not even necessarily who's supporting you, but just the environment that you're around. Are you around a lot of negativity? Look at her that went back across that street. BB, get your butt over here. Talking to her more than I talk to the kids. I'm finna go put her in the gates. Time for her nap too. What are you surrounding yourself by? Sometimes we get so comfortable in the same area we in. We know that we could prosper. I don't care if it's a move or a job or anything. We know we can prosper, but we don't want to move because we're so comfortable and we're scared and we got fear inside of us. And what fear do? Nothing but make you stagnant and continue to stay stuck. So either you go stay stuck from fear, you go stay stuck from lack of motivation, you go stay stuck from self-pity. You just gonna be one stuck son of a gun until you decide like this not for me. I ain't finna go through this no more, you know? I'm finna push forward. I don't care what this person say. If I gotta let this relationship go for my happiness, I'm gonna do it. And look, I did that before, and sometimes it could be hard, especially when you be kind of slick spoiled. And then the tables turn. Now you depressed because everything ain't the way it used to be. Not realizing you lack self-love. You lack your own self-worthiness. You lack who you are. You know? That's some things that we got to work on. The power of the mind. You know that saying, how they always say, we've been hearing it since we was younger. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. But it started getting just to being a saying, but it's more than a saying. You think about that. I got $1 million idea, you know, and I ain't pushing forward with it. I know this finna make me millions, but I'm going back and forth, doubting myself and stuff like that. Now I done let all this, you know, I done drifted into depression and my anxiety and stuff that messed up. I still know this $1 million idea. Now, next thing you know, the same idea somebody else got. Or I start seeing people do similar stuff to it. Or I'm just still here. I see people doing their own thing, making money. And I had this idea. What's the purpose of the idea if you ain't gonna use it? If you still gonna be stuck? Another example. Sometimes we could be going through a situation and we get to thinking a little too much, you know. We start thinking a little too far into it. I don't know how I'm going to get under the arms. But we start thinking too much into it. And something that was just a simple subject or a simple topic, we start thinking, oh, this can't be. Oh, no, I can't have that. Or oh, no, man, such and such might happen. Like, your mind dang gone been conquered and you still ain't, you know, flourishing. One of the key things, which may seem simple now, which may not be simple because it wasn't simple to me, I'm going to be honest, is controlling your mind. But in order to do that, it took me to be by myself a lot. And I'm going to say over and over that I didn't realize my situation was really, really happening for me. I went from being super busy. I wouldn't be doing sanding no chair down. I would have wasted some money on it. It would have been wasted then because at the time I just didn't have that extra stuff to spend. it would have been me wasting money. But now I got time. This is my time to myself, you know. And I'm actually surprised. Kinley book ran out here a while ago without no clothes on. But after I ran her book back in the house, they ain't been back out, you know. But having time to yourself to just really think and reflect. Because when we get busy, you know, when we get our day started, by the time we finish, we don't want to do too much of anything. I know I didn't. So I'm going to say I don't be want to do too much of anything. I'll say that. Because I don't. So the first thing I do in the morning is I just sit and I reflect. You know, I may reflect on yesterday. You know, I may have a lot of stuff that I reflect on. Because don't get me wrong, when it comes down to depression, for me, it hasn't been that, oh, I just wake up and it's all good. I've been doing a lot of work. You know, I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting, a lot of questioning myself, a lot of questioning my values, a lot of questioning my beliefs, just to make sure they're mine and not nobody else's that they done put on me. You see? You have to make sure this stuff is coming from within you. Because when you know that it's coming from within you, that conflict like diminishes it. It goes away. Because at the end of the day, ain't nothing like being wrong from something that you did and you just say, oh, that was my fuck up. And then to be taking somebody else's advice that leads you the wrong way. Now you created a way to put the blame on somebody else. It's all about self-control, you know. Self-control, self-knowledge. Control what you say to people. Control what you intake from people. Because what somebody else may say or hear, you may take it and look at it in a whole different direction. So I don't know if this gonna end up being scrubbed or being metal. Because I see some of the parts smoothing out. Or whatever. I'm probably going to end up sending this thing here to Mr. Heidelberg. Give him something to do. Or either wait till this weekend and put them children to work. But I don't know. It's so old. It's so old. So I don't know if it's going to go to being completely metal or not. But I got time. And we still got a little light outside or whatever. But I'm not going to hold this live long. I just want to be able to give you something to think about, you know? Just something. Because truthfully, like my schedule is, I am a very busy mother. But you know they always say you find time for what you want. So if you really, really, really want to heal and you want to get the depression label off of you, you have to understand it's going to be some work. Baby steps is better than no steps at all. But you're going to work for it. And you're not just going to wake up. Well, if you do, let me know, you know. Let me figure out what I'm doing wrong. Because, baby, sister been putting in some work. You're not going to just wake up and say, oh, you know, this is gone. Unless you really believe it. Because, like I said, it's all in your mind. And your mindset. And what you want, you know. Another thing, when we want some things, unless you're going to be super committed, start off with giving yourself small goals. Really give yourself small goals so that once you feel like you accomplished, you're going to want to keep going. I'm going to give you an example. So as soon as I got out of high school, I just wanted to go away. You know, I went to Alcorn or whatever. First year did good. Second year, look, I started learning, you know, what was going on around me. And I let kind of self-control, I ain't going to say self-control. I just was happy to be out. I'm going to say that. It wasn't nothing too much out the way. I wanted that degree, but I went straight forward. Now, some people do their 4 years and go. But that wasn't what happened for me. Even though I was told, oh, girl, go ahead and, you know, you just go to a junior college or whatever, and you go ahead and do this, then you go. I'm like, no, you know, I want to get away. I'm doing what I wanted to do. So in the midst, you know, of being there, I got pregnant with my first child, right? And so once I got pregnant with my first child, the next year I was pregnant with my second child. And I ended up getting out of school, and it took me a while. I attempted to end up going to JC. That didn't work out because by then I had a lot going on and 2 small children. So I didn't feel accomplished. Every time I tried to go back to a university, it was like it wasn't working out for me, and I started to lose hope. That was a time that depression really, really came deep for me, right? It came really, really deep for me. I started losing hope. So what I did, when I got pregnant with my 3rd child, which was fast forward maybe about 5 years later, I was in school. I had enrolled in JC. I was already there when I had got pregnant with her. But I knew the pattern that I had and how hard it was after I had my first 2. And it's just like, nah, sis, this not fit to happen. So in the midst of that, I was determined on getting that degree. So I was working. I had my 2 kids, they were small. I think they were like kindergarten first. No, they were kindergarten and head start at the time. So I had them. I worked overnight, I would come home from overnight and go straight to getting them dressed. My kids, actually my friend girl, she kept them. But I still, once I finished there, I came, got them school. I was really running off about 2 hours of sleep. But it's accomplishment that I had to get. So once graduation hit and I walked across that stage, I already knew how hard that was. But I did it, so it gave me hope to end up getting another accomplishment done. When I got my certifications, it was something quick, from my Reiki to my herbs to, coaching and stuff like that. It was something that I was able to obtain, not in a quick manner because some of them were still just self-paced, but just the fact of me being able to have control when I did it. So once I got one, hey, I felt good. I felt accomplished. Now I know I done got that degree. I done got this certification. I could get another certification. And that kept motivating me. So even once my depression was kicked in, okay, I could go and knock this off in such and such time. That helped me. I started doing small goals. Now my goals are not as small because now as I'm learning to master my mind, I could put a little more on it, because I believe in myself. I believe in myself and I love myself to know that I'm worthy to get anything accomplished that my mind applies itself to. So do that. If you guys find yourself struggling with some things, with some of your goals, ask yourself, okay, is there any way that I could shorten it? Is there any way I could get something else done and then, prolong to that? Because ain't nothing like accomplishing something that you put your mind to, but you can't be hard on yourself. I learned since I've been, on my spiritual journey, I've really been learning that how you treat you is how the outside treats you. And if you're not treating yourself well, you can't complain about how things are going. You can't complain about how other people are treating you. Because what you're setting off is, okay, I'm not caring about myself. I'm not caring about myself enough to make sure that I'm emotionally stable. I'm not caring about myself to make sure I'm mentally stable, And when you don't do that, that's what you're going to get back in return, y'all. I've learned that. So lately, since I've been treating myself, talking to myself, loving on me, I've had so many opportunities that have come my way. I have, and I'm grateful for it. So that's just something to think about. I'm not going to be on this here live. I'm actually about to get off because I think for the most part this chair is smooth, but I think maybe that some of the parts is just how this metal is. I done got a good bit of it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting some more. I'm going to spray it down some more, and then I'm going to get some more of it done so that we can get on in. I could stretch or whatever, and I could get my night together with my work and my meditation. Get the kids sleep because them small ones are waiting to be nursed. They once I nurse them, they pretty much sleep. if they haven't had a nap, during the day. So I am going to let you guys go. I just wanted to give you something else to think about, and just believe in yourself and know that anything that you put your mind to, you could conquer. You are conquerors. This guy told me the other day at the track, because I was going daily. He told me, he was like, you know what? You a champion. You a champion. I was like, shit, I am, huh? I am in my book. I am a champion. So I'm going to tell y'all that y'all are champions. Whatever you put your mind to, big or small, get it done and claim your title. Understand that. Claim your title. So I am about to go. I'm going to let this sit here a little bit more. I'm going to go in, check up on my babies. I don't hear too much noise. Tank came out a while ago because, look, anytime I'm away from him now, he trying to make sure everything all good. And which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my babies. They are a blessing. They're awesome. So, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. I thank all that did tune in. Feel free to inbox me. And when you guys inbox me, they'll let me know on what I need to, what we could talk about. So I did have some people to inbox me already about earlier when I asked them, what is depression to them? And I can't remember what the other question is, but you could just go and check out the live from this morning and inbox me. And from then I'm going to, just look and see what all we have in common. And that way I won't be so scattered around on addressing some things. But we're going to get deep, deep, deep. And after a while, what's going to happen is we're going to eventually get very deep into depression, whereas we're going to be switching and wondering, like, okay, was I really depressed? This not just a one hit or quarter thing where you address one thing, but we gonna get it done, y'all. What they say, no worries, man. We got this. But I do thank you guys. So much gratitude for you coming in and I welcome you to come and heal with the Leon Boss Lady. Take care. I love you guys. Good night, good night, good night. And if you're just coming in, go back and watch it, okay? It may be something that may help you. If not, it may help somebody else. All right, y'all. Peace and unity and so much love. Show love. Love conquers all. All right, guys. And look, check this out. Don't forget. Also, I have to go and make my Leading Boss Lady page public. I do have a Leading Boss Lady page, so some of this stuff here is not going to be here on my personal page. I'm going to transition it to being on my Leading Boss Lady page on Facebook. It's also going to go on my YouTube page, just Leading Boss Lady, as well as with my Instagram. I have another page that I'm actually going to start back getting together that we've had just about herbs. So we're going to knock all of this stuff out. By the time we get through, it may not be no getting through, because there's always room for growth. But once we finally settle in, we're going to be some new individuals. Understand that. Understand it. Trust and believe. What you believe, manifest, y'all. All right. Take care, y'all. Good night.